I started with my name is Seyi Hassan, coordinating the Excel class, data analysis using Excel. For today, this is what we'll be going through. Introduction to Excel, overview of Excel. We'll be looking at the different office button, ribbons, and what are the different parts of the ribbons, working with cells, formatting text, conditional formatting, how to insert rows and columns, editing, sorting, cell referencing, and we'll conclude with function. That's if there's still time. Yeah, and then also we started by explaining the concept of Excel. I don't like to work with definitions because I feel a lot of times you'll have to cram it. But I think if you understand the basics, then it will help you. So I mentioned first that Excel is actually a type of spreadsheet. Basically, it's like an electronic spreadsheet. So when you hear the word spreadsheet, what should come to mind is rows and columns. So what should come to mind is rows and columns. So when you hear the word spreadsheet, that should come to mind. So Excel is a Microsoft product. Basically, it's a Microsoft product of, so it's a Microsoft package of spreadsheets. Just like we have Excel, there are also several other spreadsheets that we have. So we have WPS. They also have their spreadsheets. We have Google Sheets, which is Google spreadsheet, and there are several others also. Yeah, and I said what it helps us to do, Excel actually helps us to organize our data. So when you hear the word data, it's talking about information. So Excel helps us to organize our data. It also helps us to analyze this data. When you start talking about analysis, you're talking about creating charts, performing several calculations, interpreting basically your data sets, right? So Excel is the tool that easily makes these things easy, right? Then also, yes, I think those are the basic things we talked about earlier on. Yeah, so currently we're looking at the overview of Excel, right? The part of Excel. Is that where we stopped? All right, so that's what we'll continue from. Okay, so I said, so this is actually called a workbook, right? And I said we're currently in a sheet. So Excel workbook is made up of, or the workbook is made up of several sheets. So this is sheet 1. And I said the way I know the name of this sheet is by going down. Can we see the name here, sheet 1? Yes. And to add more sheets, you can just click on the plus button. So if you click on the plus button, you can add as many sheets as you want. Is that fine? Yes. And you can also, Excel also gives you the freedom to change the name of the sheet. So I can rename this sheet to whatever name I actually want to call it. And all I need to do is to take my cursor there, this arrow key, and then double click on the name sheet 1, and I can give it a name. What kind of name can I call it? Who wants to give me a name? Sorry? Hassan. All right. So the name of our first sheet is Hassan. So let me just name the second sheet. What's the second sheet? Dexter. Third sheet, Euros. Fourth sheet, consulting. All right. Sorry. Consulting. So basically, we can actually do this. We can edit the names of the sheets. And also, if you want to identify the sheets by colors, you can also do that. So I can give Hassan a particular color. All I need to do is I take my cursor there, and then I right click to bring out the options. When I right click, I can see several options. Can we see tab color? Yes. So you take your cursor to tab color, and then you can select a particular color of your choice, just to make your sheet name unique, right? So in this case, I like green, so I'll use lemon green. So now, okay, it's not, let me use something darker. It's very legible. So can you see the color now? Can you see the color? Okay. Can you see the color? Let's use red. Can you see the colors? Exactly. So when it is selected, it usually comes a little bit grayish, like it's blurry. So that's why it was not very clear. But once you unselect it, it becomes clearer. So those are some of the things you can do with your sheet. So basically, this is a sheet. So quickly, I'll just quickly run through the parts of a sheet. Am I too fast? No. All right. So now we're about to look at the part of a sheet. So I'm going to start with the first part. So to the top, this first line, can we see where my cursor is? So that's called the quick access. So that is called the quick access. So what that allows us to do is we can easily access a few things that pertain to the general sheet. One of the things we can do is, this is the save. This icon stands for save. And the shortcut for saving is Control S. One of the untold, what's the word? Something you should hold handy when working with Excel is always save. Always save. The good thing is Excel is now a little bit, as far improved, but earlier on, people always lose their information, most especially when you're using systems that are very slow. When your system hangs and it just closes without warning, it could lose your documents. So one of the things you always want to do is save. Now, with the way Excel is, you can actually, you can easily recover. But previously, people often lose their documents. But one of the things I always advise you to do is save. And it doesn't take anything to save. You just Control S. That's the shortcut to save. Are we good? So to save is Control S, or you can go to the quick access and you just click on this icon. Save. Do you know what this? Has anybody actually seen this icon before? Do you know what this icon is? The save icon. Who knows what it is? Floppy disk, right? What's in the floppy disk before? All right. That's floppy disks, yeah. So when I started learning computer, when I was in primary school, they told us to bring a floppy disk to school. Did you do that too? Yes, and you had to even draw it too. Yeah, so basically, and it was, so the floppy disk is like, so a flash drive is like an advanced version of a floppy disk. So basically, you use a floppy disk to save information or your data. But now you use flash drive, hard drive, SSD, what else again? So yeah, and people not even save on the cloud, right? Yeah, so basically this icon allows you to save. Then the next icon is undo. So can we see that arrow that points back? Yes, it actually stands for undo. So what happens is if you make a mistake and you want to go back to the last thing you did before you made that mistake, you can use the undo. Or the option, the shortcut to do it is Control Z or Z. Z or Z. All right. So please, yeah, so either Z or Z, depending on what you call it. So Control Z allows you to undo. So, and then we have redo. This is what will catch you. What's the shortcut to redo? Control. You guys know it? Okay, nice. Yeah. So for a long time, I actually didn't know. I didn't know the shortcut for redo. But yeah, Control Y actually allows you to redo. Or you can just click on this icon that points forward, right? And when you redo it, let's say you undo and then now want to go back. Yes, basically then use the undo. Then that's for the first line. So now we'll move on to the second line. So these things are actually called, so this whole part is called a ribbon. Do you know the normal strip of ribbons? I'll use the entire balloon. Yeah, so basically it's called a ribbon, this whole part. And a ribbon is divided into three parts. Please let's take note of this. A ribbon, or the ribbon, is divided into three parts. So this is the whole strip of ribbon. The first part of the ribbon is called the tab. So the first part of the ribbon is called the tab. So home is a tab. So when I use the word tab, T-A-B, tab, 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 T-A-B. So a ribbon is divided into three parts. The first part is called the tab. For the tab, we have home, insert, page layout. What next? What next? Formulas. What next? Data, what next? Review,
View.
what next? And then view. Yes. So these are the default tabs that comes with almost all Office. Are we together? Yeah, so these are the default tabs that come with almost all Office products. So we have the home tab, we have the insert, we have the page layout, we have the formulas, we have the data, review, and the view, right? So that's the first part of the ribbon. The second part is called the, who wants to try? The what? Menu, no. Nice try. Actually, I like people trying. It's good. Toolbar, no. So the next part of the ribbon is called the group. The group. The group, yes. So if you notice, this thing seems to be like in sections. Can we see a line that divides it? The ribbons. Yes. So this is a group. Alignment is a group. Number is a group. Styles is a group. Cells is a group. Editing is a group. All under what tab? All under what tab? Home tab. Yes. Under inserts, how many groups do we have there? How many groups do we have there? How many groups do we have there under the insert tab? 10. Okay. Can we name it? Tables, illustrations, apps, charts, reports, sparklines, filters, links, text, and symbols. Right? Under the page layout, we can see the different groups. Can we see them?
Yes.
Can we see the different groups?
Yes.
Under the page layout. Under formulas, can we see the different groups?
Yes.
Exactly. So all the tabs have their different groups. So you can see get external data, connection, sort and filter types, outline, and we can see analysis. Most people will not have this in their, what do you call it? You will not have this group in your data tab. So I'll also show us later when we get to that point, when we get to data analysis, how to include this, how to include and start a new group. Is that fine? Yes. So is that clear? So we've talked about tabs, we talked about groups. The third part of the ribbon is status bar. Not that it's the status bar. The status bar is still down so far. You don't understand what I'm saying? Who said so? No, no, please feel free. If you don't understand, I can always come back. You want me to come back? You want me to come back?
Yes, sir. Please come back.
Okay, sorry everyone online. My device got disconnected. Okay, so I think we are back. We can continue now. Yeah, so I was explaining the parts of the ribbon. So we've looked at the tabs. I mentioned the ribbon is divided into three parts: the tab, the group, and then the command, right? So now moving down, can we see the small box to the left? Can we see a small box to the left, just below the ribbon? The one with C5. Yeah, so that is actually called, can you see it? Can't see it. Thank you. Nice question. Where's the glasses? All right, so please, I don't know. You can actually just step forward and look at it and then go back, no problem. Or if you're sitting close to someone that has a system, the person can actually show you what we're actually looking at. So it's called a name box, right? It's called a name box. Name, N-A-M-E, name. Yes. So just like name implies, the name box basically tells you the name of a cell or the range of cells we're working with. So, for example, okay, let me just use this opportunity to explain what cells are. So, what are cells? I want to believe. What are cells? Right? Someone said the smallest living. All right. So, someone said small boxes. Small boxes. Okay, the boxes. Oh, nice one. So these boxes are cells, right? Yeah. So if we want to define it, how do we define it? They're very correct. Those small boxes are the cells. So these small boxes are the cells. All these cells come together to form our sheet. But how do you define a cell? Combination of rows and columns, very close but not it. That's the spreadsheet. Someone said the smallest unit of a spreadsheet. Can we clap for her? I think that let's clap for her. Because that's actually the first time I'm hearing that definition, and it's actually on point. It's actually the smallest unit of the spreadsheet, but that's not how we define it. But that's actually a very good try. I think I will hold that handy. I'll hold that handy. Who wants to try and help us out? So let me just define it basically. If you look up, can you notice something is great? So this, can we see these letters? Basically, these letters are called columns. It tells us our columns. So columns are identified by letters, right? So this is column A, column B, column C, column D. So these are columns. And can we see the numbers? 1, 2, 3, they are rows. So we can see row 1, row 2. So a cell is the intersection between the column and the row. That's why you can see, and then any cell that is selected is called an active cell. So when I use the word active cell, don't get confused. So our active cell is going to be named by the column and the row. So by calling it the column letter and then the row number. So that is, so what's the active cell here? C and 8. So the name of this cell becomes C8. So it becomes cell C8, or we can call it C8. And look at the name box. Can we see the name there? What's the name there? C8, exactly. So the name box tells us the name of our cell. So if I select this cell, what's the name of that cell? What's the column? Column D, row. So what's the name? D3. So remember, we start by calling it the name of the column before the row, not 3D. Not 3D, D3. So first, you mention the letter, which is the column, and then followed by the row. Are we good? Is it clear? Any question? Can I go on? Thank you. So This is called a cell. If I select more than one cell, what do we call that? In biology, collection of cells is what? Forms what? Tissue, right? Tissue, yes. So collection of cells in Excel will give us what? All right. So when you have more than one cell selected, it's called a range. So when you select more than one cell, it's called a range. And a range is identified by first calling the first cell and the last cell selected. So usually the first cell, column, the last cell. So in this case, I'm going to be having this range is going to be identified as what's the first cell selected? D3. What's the first cell selected? D3. What's the last cell selected? So the range now becomes D3 column H3. Is that fine? Okay, let's try it again. So now, what would this one be? What would be the range? What's the first one I selected? D5. What's the last?
H5.
So the range becomes. Does that make any sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's try this. So what's this range? What's the first one I selected? What's the first I selected? D6. What's the last I selected? So the range becomes. Thank you very much. So is that clear? So basically, that's how you identify a range and a cell. Are we good? Yes. And then also with the name box, you can actually give your cells a unique name. If you don't want to call it a particular name, you can give it a unique name. And while you're doing your calculation, you can always reference that particular name. So when we start analyzing our data, I'll show you how we're going to use it. Basically, when we start talking about indexing. So let's say we want to give this cell, let's say I want to give our range of cell a particular name. So what's this range? T3 column G3, right? So we can rename it. What I need to do is once I select it, I go to my name box and I can type what should I call it? What should I call it? People like my name, Oluwaseyi, all right. So Oluwaseyi. So I've called that Oluwaseyi. So what happens when I select Oluwaseyi? So once I select Oluwaseyi, it automatically highlights that range. Do you see that? Should I do it again? All right. So now I've selected a different cell. So the cell now is M8. I can go to my name box and then I select Oluwaseyi. And automatically highlight everything. Is that fine? Yeah, and I can do the same thing for also the specific cells. I can give specific cells certain name. So anytime I select that name or I reference that name when I'm working, when I'm calculating, it selects the item in that cell. Is that fine? Is anyone confused? No. All right. Is anyone confused? I heard yes. Someone said yes. Okay, so what's your question? All right, no problem. Let me know if you encounter any difficulty. So those online, am I too fast? All right. Okay, so look at the name box. The next is this long. Can you see this long bar to your right? To your right of the name box. Can we see it? So that's called what? Name that should be there. It's called the formula bar, right? So it's actually called the formula bar. So who wants to try? What is the formula bar used for? Thank you very much. It's that simple for our formulas, for calculating, for inputting our calculations rather. Yes. So that's the formula bar, right? So for all our calculations, basically, it will reflect in the formula bar. I can also use the formula bar in imputing information into a cell. So let's say I want to impute an information into cell B2. Do you know why this is B2? Yes. I want to impute an information into B2. I can select the cell and then come into the formula bar and then put, maybe I can insert 54. So the formula bar allows me to input information into cells. Is that fine? So I said the formula bar also allows me to input information into cell. So if we want to input a number into this cell, I can select B5, go to my formula bar, click on it, and then input whatever information. Let's say I want to write your name. What's your name? Monday. All right. So Monday. So it allows me to input information into cell. Yes. And then also let me use the opportunity to introduce also a concept. In Excel, okay, no, let me even, what do we notice when I put input a number and a text? Something happened. What happened? What went to the right? Okay. All right, so by default, Excel aligns numbers to the right of the cell. By default, numbers are aligned to the right and the text are aligned to the left. Why? So one of the so I want to believe the reason for it is to easily understand or to easily see how the number is stored. When you start analyzing data, you discover that there are sometimes the number is stored as a text. And the way to easily know that is the alignment. That is the quickest way you can know if it's stored as a text. And if you don't notice it early enough, when you start calculating, what will happen is when the number is stored as a text, it will skip that number during calculation. In fact, sometimes it will even calculate, it will give you an error. So when you notice that it's aligning to the left, you can easily maybe use the value function to convert to a value or quickly change it from text to number. Let's say I did that. Then you can easily just come here and change it from text to number, or basically you can use the value function to convert it back to the value. So by default, this actually helps you to know how that data is stored in that cell. So in this case, you can see that this is stored as a number because it's aligned to the right. This is stored as a text because it's aligned to the left. When we start looking at cleaning data, you understand the importance of the alignment. Is that fine? Any question? All right. So can I move on? All right. So basically, that's the formula bar. And then that's the formula bar. So what we've actually looked at columns, right? So columns are vertical or horizontal, and rows are okay. I want to ask you. I should ask you. All right. But hope we got that. Do we all get that? Basically. Or it just chorused it. So when I say vertical, this is what I mean by vertical. Straight, vertical, this is horizontal. Yes. So these are columns and these are
Not get
rows.
bar.
Yeah. An intersection between a column and a row gives you this cell. Yes. So when inserting, you can also insert new cells, sorry, new columns when working. By default, when you insert a new column, it inserts it to the left. By default, it inserts columns to the left. So to insert a column, so let me just write a few things so you can see how that applies. Let's say I have, let me just quickly create a table. So now let's say I want to take the attendance of this class. What information will I need? So serial number first, right? Name. I always like to divide it first name, surname, okay, the middle name. What else? phone number, gender, huh? What else again? Age, what else? That's gender. But what's the difference between sex and gender?
No different.
But in Nigeria, it's actually nothing, but in some countries, it's not nothing. Gender is can be only male or female. Sex is so in most countries, huh? Huh? Is she? Yeah, so basically it's believed that, from what I understand, I may be wrong, you can go home and do your research. Gender basically has to do with what you're born with. Sex has to do with what you identify as. So that's what they do now in our world. But in Nigeria, sex and gender basically are the same thing. Yeah, but for forms, it's usually better to keep it as gender, just to be on the safe side, right? And don't sue you and ask why need to add other categories in your form, right? So yeah, so we can keep it as serial number, we have name, surname, middle name, phone number, gender, age. There's something wrong with our middle name and phone number. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with our middle name and looking at it? It's hiding, right? Yes. So if you want to fit it such that the name fits into that cell, what you can do is, most people will just drag it. I know you're familiar with this, right? Yeah. Another thing you can do also is you highlight it. If you want it to automatically adjust, once you highlight it, you double click, and everything will adjust. So you can see the serial number adjusted based on the name, and then also middle name, phone number, gender, and the age. Are we good? Way too fast for those there. If it's fast. Okay. Yeah, so this is what we've created. Is that fine? Handout. No, I'll share a few sheets. So we're working with directly with some sheets. Yeah, so each class has a particular sheet we're working with. So before next class, I would have shared everything. So we'll know the sheets. So there's no handout, it's actually a sheet.
No problem for this one.
Huh? You've not gotten it yet. So I should wait. Should I wait? I should come again.
This class.
So which one did you get?
Till 4.
Okay.
That's what last week. They just put it for us. Close us.
So when
like
you want to select a whole row or want to select a whole column, you can take your cursor to the letter A. It's changed to a small arrow pointing down, and that's how I selected. So I just hold down, left click, and then I drag it to select the whole column. And it works the same thing for the row too as well. And then you want to select the whole sheet as a whole. You can come to the edge and one click, you select everything, select the whole sheet. So is that fine? Yeah. And then if you want to select a group of cells, you select, you click on one, ensure your cursor is at the center. Please don't take it to the edge. I'll explain when you need to take it to the edge. When you want to highlight, you want to select, ensure your cursor is at the center and then you just drag it. That's how to select.
Me, I know they even.
So is that fine? Yeah. You want to select one, I select another, a random one. Oh, very good question. So you want to select two cells that are not beside each other. Yeah, you can use the control. So you select one, you hold down control, and then you select another one. And then as long as you're holding control, you can select as many as you want. Yeah. And then also, if you want to select a range of cells, instead of having to scroll down, one of the things you can do also, select the first one, hold down Control and Shift, and then select the last one. Sorry, hold down Shift rather, and then select the last one. But if you have a range of cells and you want to go to the data in the last row, that way you use Control Shift and then you press down to take it to the last one. But let me just show you an example. I think there's a sheet I worked on recently. Sorry, just okay, yeah. Okay, so this is something I was working on. So now I want to select the last. How many rows does this sheet have? So it has like several rows. I don't know how many. If I want to go to the last row in this sheet, all I need to do is Control Shift, and I can select everything. But if I'm going to the last one, Control down. To control down will take it to the last one. Control Shift down will select everything in that row. It will just take it to the last. Control down will take it to the last row. Control down will take it to the last row. Control Shift will select everything.
So you're not sharing your screen for that one?
To the right, yeah, the same thing, yes. So
We are
Control
locked.
Shift will also will select to the end as well.
So you didn't share your screen.
Sorry?
We're only seeing the spreadsheet.
We
Okay, for
can't
that one.
see your screen. Thank you.
Can I come again? Yeah.
Like, let me say one box that is plus and then two box, or let me say number two and think number two have and control shift and press that until it and
I think, do you want to try it here? Let me see
So
what
please, can you go over it again? Excuse me, sir.
like if you're typing something now,
Yeah.
let me say you're putting something and you want to press this control shift here. You can put this one and try to change it at this three.
Oh no. So that's not Control Shift. That's not Control Shift. So it does shift. So our question basically is, let's say we want to access. So can we see my laptop? Can you see the laptop? Yes. So you can see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 0, right? And we can see some symbols on top. So she's asking that, can we use Control Shift to access these symbols? Basically, and you just shift. So shift, you don't use Control Shift. Yeah, so if you want and you shift 7. If you want close bracket, shift 0, shift 9. That is to access the symbols. Yeah. Just shift, not Control Shift. So is that fine? Okay. I will pass that on. I was trying to explain some facts. Let me go back and do it. The best for me or too fast. Sorry for those online. I'll try and take it slowly. I was trying to answer a few questions in class. So I'm going to come back and just show us what I did. So I was saying so first to adjust this such that all fits into the column, you highlight everything by taking your cursor to the top of the column and then selecting everything and double click to adjust. Right? So that's one way. That's how to adjust. And then also you can manually do it by adjusting, dragging your column and expanding it. Right? Then also I talked about selecting. Let's say you have data set. Let me generate. Sequence. Okay. Okay, so let me just open. Let me share the. Trying to. So it does online. Just 1 second. I actually close the sheet. I'm trying to reopen it back so I can explain what I explained previously. Okay, so so now let's say you have this data set and you have several rows. If you want to go to the last row with control, holding down control and down, it takes you to the last row in your column set. So holding down control, you press down, it takes you to the last one, and you can also use that to also return back. If you want to select all the, sorry, 1 second. If you want to select all the data in that column, you can use Control Shift, holding down Control and Shift, and you press down, you're able to select everything. And it also works for the rows too as well. Control Shift to the right, and you're able to select everything. Control A selects everything in the whole sheet. So it's like Control. And it's the same thing. So Control A does that. Yeah, so Control A will select the whole data set. Is that fine? Yeah, and another way you can do it, you can use Control Shift to the right, Control Shift down to select everything. Yeah, Control Shift down. Yes. So hope that is fine. Those online, are we good?
Yes, sir. Right on,
Yes, I think
sir.
that's what I mentioned. So let's return back to where we are at. Okay, I was trying to explain the concept, okay, like how to insert rows and columns, right? Okay, so now we have serial number.
Excuse me, sir. We can no longer see your screen.
Am I sharing my screen? I'm not sharing it. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we have serial number, we have the first name, we have the surname, we have middle name, phone number, gender, and age. So let's say we forgot to add something, right? I want to include something between the middle name and the phone number, maybe email. Let's say, okay, I want to include email between phone number and gender, right? So what we'll do is, one way we can do it is to insert the column. So we select that column, right click, then insert, and automatically to insert it to the left. Is that fine? So I'll do it again. So I want to insert a new column between phone number and gender. I selected the gender column, right click, and I click on insert. I'm able to select insert a new column. And then I can name it email. I'm trying to insert, so I said by default, Excel insert columns to the left. Is that fine? Yes, so that's why I selected gender. So I could insert a new column between phone number and gender. There's actually several ways we can insert columns. This is just one way. So do we all get it? Are we trying it? Okay, let me come again. So I said I want to insert a new column, which is email, between phone number and gender. I select my gender. Remember, it's between phone number and gender. By default, it inserts a column to the left. I need to select the item on the right, which is the gender. Right click and then insert. And I have my new column to the left. Is that fine? So that's one way. Another way also is in the cell group. Can we see the cell group? Can we see insert? Yes, so we can also insert a new column as well. So you can click on insert under your home tab, the cell group, where you have cells. You see insert. You can also insert columns. And then you can click on column and it's also insert a new column. Is that okay? All right. Yes. And the same thing for rows too as well. You can insert, you can insert a row and then it will insert the row above. Let me put some numbers so we can see. So now, let's say I missed this and I had a 3, 4. So now I missed out 2. Can we see the serial number? Can we see the serial number? You can see 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I missed out 2. If I want to insert a new column, so I can put 2, select, and then insert, and to insert a new column, so a new row above. Is that fine? Yeah, and then I cannot have 2. Any question so far? Any questions so far? All right, so moving on. Let me introduce the concept of editing, basically, or flash fill. Have you gotten it? Those trying it? Can I move on? Okay, now, so just for example, like look at this serial number. I was trying to count. So basically, I'm actually counting from 1 to 6. So let's imagine I want to count maybe from 1 to 20. Imagine having to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 20. That's going to be a lot of waste of time, right? Yes. So there's actually an option, something called a fill handle or flash fill. Basically, it allows you to basically generate these numbers following a pattern. So what it does, it follows the pattern and you're able to generate a sequence of numbers. So what you do is you select 1 and 2. Then there's this small box to the edge. It's called the fill handle. You hold it and then you drag down till you've gotten to 20. So now watch what I did. I actually first I have 1 and 2. So what it does is it uses the difference between 1 and 2 and follows the same pattern. So if I selected only 1, what will happen is only 1, 1, 1, 1 that will appear. So it will only transfer 1. So what it does is just follows patterns and basically is able to transfer it. Right? Then also you can use the same thing for day of the week. So by default, you can generate days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way to Saturday. You're lost. Okay, so let me go back. I said what happens is it uses the difference between the first and the second number to generate the sequence of numbers. So let's say I want 1, 2, 3. What's the difference between 1 and 2? 2 and 3. Exactly. So it uses that difference to generate the sequence of numbers. So I said to do that, you select 1 and 2. Remember how to select. I click on 1 and then I can drag it down to 2. Take my cursor down. There's something called a fill handle that change to like a plus. Once you change it down to a plus, you cannot drag it down so you have your sequence of numbers generated. Is that fine? Just drag it down. But if you want to repeat the same number, you put 1, Once you put imputed that number, you drag 1 with the same number. And 1 repeated. But let's say the difference, let's say you want, what's the word? Is it even numbers they call it? 2, 4, 6. So select it and then what will be the next one? 8, 10, 12, 14, and that's what we have. So is that fine? Any questions so far?
But this, sorry, this one that you read, and this is actually and it's being serviced by the bank.
The field series. We're coming there. No, sit. Let me understand. So continue. You make mistake as you have. No, I didn't get. I didn't get it. There's a question there. Yeah. No, I talk about this field series. That what I just showed you is actually the field series. Do you understand? Yeah, I didn't type 1111. So what I did was I typed 1 and then I dragged it. Yeah, and that's actually the field series. Yeah. Five, so 1, 5, 13. So the difference between 1 and 5 is different from the difference between 5 and 13, and different between 13 and the next one. And then you can use the formula to do that. Yeah. In that case, that would be let's say we have 1. The next one will be, so let's say the above plus 5. And so it can be 5 plus, do what you mean? It's not the same. And if it's not the same, then it's difficult to be able to generate it. Unless it's arithmetic progression or geometric. So GP or AP, right? Yeah. I've not actually tried that before, but I'm sure there should be a way you can do that if it follows a particular pattern. Yeah, if you follow the particular pattern, then there's a way you can do that. There should be a way you can do that. Any other question? So I said for days of the week is also the same thing as well. You can use the field handle to generate days of the week. You can see we're able to generate Monday to Sunday. Exactly, the same thing also applies to months as well. So we have months. It ends with December, okay. So the same thing like that. Are we good? So by default, Excel it's been embedded in the what do you call it? The system to be able to generate this sequence of numbers. Yeah, there's also a way you can also design it such that once you have 1 and you drag it down, basically you can generate that sequence of numbers. It's also possible to do it. Yeah. And then also even so for like I know for HRs, most time when they have to deal with maybe staff names and every time they have to input staff names, There's also a way they can embed it such that once they input a particular staff name, they can drag down all the staff names to actually appear. That's the way we drag that we have January to December. So all of those things, you can also always, you can develop your own sequence of numbers. But by default, this is the sequence of information that comes with Excel. Are we good? Can I move on? All right. So I think we've touched on a few things. Let me pull out the PowerPoint. Let's see what we have outstanding. Okay. Okay, I don't think we've talked about. So basically, we looked at flash fill. Then also, have we looked at copy and paste? No. So when we're working with Excel, there are there's a few things we'll keep working with. One of it is we always have to copy and paste, right? I know we're very familiar with this, but just to refresh our memory, let's say we want to copy a particular information in a cell. All we need to do is to select that cell, then Control C. Control C allows you to copy, and then you can select the destination, and then Control V is used in pasting. Another way, basically, manually you can do it is you can right click and there's a copy option, copy, and then you can paste. But when pasting, there are actually several options that come with pasting. So the first one is basically to paste the information in that cell. The second option is paste as values. So the difference between paste and paste as values is paste to paste. If you have a formula, to copy the formula and paste the formula along with the formatting that comes with that formula or information. So basically, it copies everything in that cell and pastes everything. But paste as value only pastes the content of that cell. What do I mean? If I have, so let's say I made this yellow. So I just made this yellow, I painted this cell yellow. So now I want to copy. If I copy and I paste, it will paste, that's Control V, or I paste normally. It will paste everything, both the formatting too as well. But if I'm pasting as values, it will only paste the value. And what's the value in this cell? January. So it will only paste, copy, it will only paste January, which is, so it will copy, it will paste the formatting or the format. Is that fine? There are actually more paste options. So there's also, let's look at the other ones. There's also paste formula. So what you do to paste the formula? More like it just transfers the formula. So it will copy. Now paste will copy everything, both the formatting, the formulas, and also the text, and basically paste it. But if you only want to paste only the formula, you can use paste the formula. So it won't copy, it will paste the formatting. If you paste the values, it will paste the formula, it paste only the content. So, yeah. It would paste the formula, but it would paste the result. So let me show you an example. Let's give it a try. So now let's add 14 and 16 together. So when inputting a formula, you always start with equal to. So we start with equal to, we select 14 plus 1. 14 plus 1 will give us what? 15. So now let's see what happens when we paste normally. When we paste normally, what do we have? 15. If I double click, you see the formula is there. C16 plus D16. So that's normal paste. See what happens when I paste just the formula. Was it formula I pasted? No. Sorry, see what happened when I paste the value. Copy and this paste as value. You can see the formula is not there. It's just 15 that is pasted. So you can see this one has the formula. This one does not have the formula. Now let's see the last part. Paste as formula. Okay, sorry. The only way you can appreciate this paste as formula is if there's a format. So let me paste. So paste as formula, basically, paste only the formula. And then in this case, the formula is going to be E16 and F16. This is because it's relative. I explained the difference between relative and absolute. But can we see the difference? Doesn't copy the format. Yeah, but in this case, let's say I was to copy and paste normally, to copy both the format and the formula. So paste basically paste everything, but paste as formula only paste just the formula without the formatting. So any other question? So can I move on? All right, so basically that is how you paste. That's how basically you copy and you paste both formulas and different values, right? So please let's not forget. You didn't get it. The paste as values, the formula. Okay, give me 1 second. So now let's say we have, let me go back again. Okay, so someone online is asking for the even numbers. So let me just repeat the even numbers again. So let's say we have for even numbers 2, 4, select both of them, and then you drag it. So now if we want to add both of them together, remember Excel can be used for calculations too as well. If we want to add column A and column B together, I want to find the total. So let's say this is, maybe we have score. I want to find the total. So we're going to start with equal to. So I first select C3, and I start with equal to. Can I go on? So now I want to add 1 and 2. What select A3 plus B2. B3, sorry. Do you get that? So this is basically working with formulas. We've not gotten here. I just want to use it to explain a concept. So I'm adding 1 and 2 together. Can I move on? You get this? You get it? I can move on. All right. So now we added 1 and 2 together. We've gotten 3. Is that fine? So when I was explaining the flash fill, imagine having to type the same formula over and over again. With flash fill, I can transfer this formula by dragging it down. So if I drag it down, it's going to add 2 and 4 together. So what will be the next answer? After 6, what will be the next answer? After 6, what's the next answer? 9. After 9, what's the next answer? 4. Exactly. So basically, by dragging down using the fill handle, you're able to generate, like transfer the formula. So it basically just transfers this formula. Is that fine? Yes. What's that? So control shift is used to select. No, it will select everything. Yes. But another way also you can do it is instead of having to drag down, if you don't want to drag down, you can take your cursor there and double click. So are we listening? So you can take your cursor there and you double click. You double click to generate everything. Is that fine? Yes. So that's for so that's for the flash fill. Then also I was talking about copy and paste, the different types of paste. So now let's say I edited my total. Now I'm inserting a fill. So I'm changing the color, I'm inserting a fill. And then let's say I want to make it bolded. Is that okay? So can we see my total? Yes. So if I have a series of numbers, remember this time I have 5, 10. So now I want to add 1 and 5 together to have my total. So now let's say I want to do the same thing. No, the operation I did there was 1 plus 2 gave me 3, right? So now I want to add 1 and 5. And all I want to do is just to copy the formula from here to this place. So let's look at the 3 different types of copy, the different type of copy that we looked at. Control C, or let me right click. If I click on copy, if I paste normally, it will paste both the formatting, which is the green fill, and the bolded. Basically, I also paste the formula. So you can see it has given us 6, which is 1 plus 5. Is that fine? Yes. But let's say we only want 3. We want to paste only 3. We don't want it to add 1 and 5. We only want the final answer, which is 3. Copy, then we're going to paste it as value. So in this time, we're going to be having 3 instead of pasting the formula. Is that clear? So now, what we did was 1 plus 2 gave us 3. Do you understand this? We understand it? So now we have a series of number here, and we have this number. We want to add this number and this number together to have our total. Instead of having to do the same calculation, we can copy the formula and paste it here, right? Right? Yes. Do we agree? Yes. So Control C will copy, and then Control V to paste. So we're able to paste. But if you notice, everything pasted, including both the formula and the formatting. And the formatting here is what? Green, right? You can see everything is pasted here. Do you understand this? Yes. What I did now, is it clear? Or now say, let's say, for example, we want to only paste just the formula, and we don't want this format. We don't want it to be gray. That's where we have the option of paste formula. We paste formula, it will paste only the formula, which is E3 plus F3, which is 1 plus 5, 6. Is that clear? Do we understand? Do we understand? But let's say we only want to paste only 3, which is the answer. We only want to paste the answer. I don't want to paste the formula. That's what we paste as value. Did you get it? Did you get it? So let's do it again. So now I want to paste the formula, Control C, Control V. It's to paste the formula, which is 1 plus 5. So got 6. But for this, the second one, I want to paste only the formula, but I don't want this green thing to show, the green background. I'm going to paste formulas alone. So paste as formulas. Can we see the formulas? So paste as formulas. Sorry? So for the first one, we added 1 and 2. 1 plus 2 gave us 3. Now I want to do the same thing. I want to do 1 plus 5, 6. Yes, so instead of having to type 1 plus 5, sorry, instead of having to type E1 plus, sorry, E3 plus F3, right? I can copy the formula and paste it here. Do you understand? So in this case, you can say that the formula is just very short. There's some situation where you have a very long formula. I don't want to have to type the very long formula. I just want to copy the formula and paste it. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. So if you want to paste it, I said there are different ways you can paste it. You can paste normally, which is Ctrl V, paste. You can paste as values. If you paste as value, it only paste the answer. And you can paste formulas alone. To paste only the formula without the format. So now I want to paste only the answer, which is 9. Ctrl C, right click, and I'm going to paste as values, which is only the answer. Do you understand the difference? All right. Which one? For 9. Because I pasted as values. So I want to paste only the answer. No, the answer 9. What I copied. So I only want to paste only the answer, which is 9. Do you understand? Okay, ask again. Let me get it. Since now, why is not giving me? Then you're going to paste the formulas. Thank you. So in that case, it's only the formulas you want to paste. Right click and you paste the formulas and you have your answer. So is that clear? So let's move on. So so now let's move on to editing. So do you have any questions so far from what I've done? Any questions so far? Okay, ask please. Which one? To the right or down? And so let's take us to a new class, but that's fine. Let me just touch it. So you can use, there's several ways you can do it. You can use sum equal to sum. So equal to sum, and then you select everything and enter to give you your total. Yes, but that's actually for next class. This is more of introduction to Excel, just teaching us, showing us the basics. For next class, we start looking at different calculations we can do. So now, any question based on what we've done today or what we've done so far? So if there's no question, let's look at sort and filter under editing. We've looked at fill already. Now let's look at sort and filter. So the first one is sort. So what sort does is sort helps us to select specific things we want to see. sorry. Sort basically rearranges, getting tired. Sort basically rearranges from either smallest to largest, largest to smallest when dealing with numbers, or from A to Z or Z to A when dealing with letters or text. So now let's try something. Let's go back to our first name. So can I get some names? Give me some random names that we can. Sorry? Adam, yeah. Eve, Jennifer, Michael. Those online, can you give us some names? James,
Majesty.
Hassan,
Majesty.
Aisha.
Joshua,
Aisha.
Majesty.
Elizabeth. Who else again?
Majesty.
Chan,
Sadiq.
JD. Okay, like Jordan. Grace.
Majesty.
Okay, so we have some names. And then let's say we have let's call this age. Let's call it gender. Adam, is Adam male or female? She male. All right. Eve, is Eve male or female? Male. Jennifer, male. Michael, female. James, male. Hassan, male. All right, so let me just do it randomly. All right. So, give me a minute. All right. So, and then we have their age. So, how old is Adam? Let me delete. So we have 97. Then the other one 10, 15. Let's leave it like this randomly. So I think we can delete. Okay. So are we good with this? So we have the name, gender, and the age. So I said sort allows us to arrange it or rearrange it from, when dealing with numbers, it rearranges it from either smallest to largest or largest to smallest, right? But when dealing with text, it arranges it from A to Z or Z to A. So now if we want to arrange it based on the names alphabetically, you click on the header, name, go to sort and filter, and then let's sort from A to Z, and let's see what happens. So do you notice anything? What happened? Did you rearrange it? So we can see we have Adam. After Adam, we have Chan. After Chan, we have Elizabeth. Then we have Eve. Then we have Grace, James, Jordan. So do we now understand how sort works? But we also notice something. Did the gender change too? Did it change? Did the age change? Thank you very much. So we notice that when we're sorting, the gender changed and the age also changed, right? Yes. So what happens if we don't want the gender to change or the age to change? I want to sort only the name. Thank you very much. And then we sort. So, but it's also going to give you a warning. It's going to ask you, do you want to expand selection or do you want to continue with current selection? So you select, continue with with current selection, and then sort, and it will, okay, we've sorted already. And to only sort just that column. Is that fine? Yes. But see what
So I
happens
can
when
try Z to
it
A.
comes
Let's
to
see.
numbers. What did it change to? Sort what? Can we see it change to smallest to largest? Can we see what it changed to? So when you have a number selected, it's going to change to smallest to largest and largest to smallest. But if you have a text selected, it's going to change to A to Z and Z to A. Is that fine? So you can also sort from our biggest number, which is 95, or we can do from the smallest number, which is 10. Is that fine? Yes, please ask. Sorry? Gender. Yeah, so automatically it selects the whole selection. Yes. So to sort out everything, the whole row. Not like the whole row, like the table. The table. To sort it out, to rearrange it. Is that fine? Yeah. So that's for sort. The second option, the second thing we'll be looking at is filter. So basically, filter, just like the name. You know what a filter is now? Like a sieve. So what it does is select specific things you want to see, right? Yeah, so filter can be used to select specific rows that you want to see. So let's say we want to find out what are the males we have in our table. You can use filter to select to find out the males. So you click on, so let me undo it. So you click on the header, which is name, gender, and age. Can I do it again? Which one, Lumi? Is it the sort by age or sort by name? So Lumi, I'm waiting for your response. By age, all right. So let's do the sort by age. So you select the age. So you can either select the header or you can select any of the numbers. You select the numbers, go to sort, and then let's sort from largest to smallest. And to sort it from largest to smallest. Is that okay? Yeah. And then the same thing works for name. So we can sort from A to Z or Z to A. That good? So that's for the sort. So you just select the number and then you sort it from smallest to largest. So yeah, so now I want to talk about filter. So for filter, select the header. The header here is name, gender, and age. You can select any of them. And then you go to sort and filter, and you select filter. Once you select filter, a small box with an arrow key will show. Can we see it? Can we see it? When it appears, select the arrow key, and then you see different options. So we can see male and female. Uncheck, and then you select the one you want to view. So let's say I want to view all the males in the table. We select only male and we click on OK. All the males will appear in the table. So can we see all the males? So you can see Eve, Jennifer, James, Hassan, Joshua, Elizabeth, Chan, Jordan, and Grace. So we want to see only the females, the same thing. We select females and we uncheck male and we'll click on OK. And all the females in the table will appear. Is that fine? You work? So any question? Any question? So if there's no question, let's move on. And if you want to remove the filter, you can always clear your filter. Can we see the option of clear filter? Yes, so once you clear it, you restore it back to the way it was before. I want to remove these small boxes appearing. You can always go back and uncheck it. When to filter, you click on it. If you click on it back, it's uncheck it and then it will disappear. The small boxes. Is that fine? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, so I'm going to touch on the last thing we have for today. And then next week we'll start from functions. So the last part of today is called cell referencing. So we actually did that at some point. Cell referencing. So what does it mean to reference a cell? Who wants to try? And when you hear the word reference, what does it mean? So when you hear the word reference, like a reference point, maybe you're traveling and you ask someone, okay, I need a reference point or a landmark. What does it mean to reference? Or to reference someone? To refer? Reference is to refer. Sorry? Yeah, an affiliate marketer. Benchmark. No, that is not the word. Sorry? Direct. Close. Something you can easily identify. Okay. So when you hear the word reference, what does it mean? To refer. All right, another affiliate marketer. Well, so they're actually on point. So when you talk about reference, you're basically referring. So you're referring to something, right? So there are actually two ways you can refer or you can reference in Excel. One is relative, the other way is absolute. Relative, what does it mean to be relative? When we say something is relative, what does it mean? It changes, thank you very much. So when we talk about relative reference, we're talking about it changes. When we talk about absolute, it means it doesn't change, it's fixed. So when you hear the word reference, remember what we're talking about is refer. Or so what I'm referring to something. So to reference a cell is to refer. So let's say I want to refer to cell E3. What is in E3? What do we have in E3? What do we have in cell E3? E3. E3.
Eve.
E3.
Eve.
E3. E3. Hey. E and 3. Okay, sorry. Let me. Can you see it now? What do we have in E3? Thank you very much. Eh? Who's not seeing it? Okay. So what do we have in F4? Those online people are very quiet. F4, what do we have?
Male.
Male.
What of G5? All right, thank you. So let me zoom out. So now if I want to reference F4, what I'm going to do is equal to. So when you're dealing with referencing, formulas, functions, any form of calculation, you always start with an equal to. Let's remember. So equal to, now I want to refer to a particular number. Let's say I want to refer to, okay, a text now, to Eve. So the equal to what? Now to refer to Eve, what will it be equal to? Equal to E3.
E3.
So if I have equal to E3, then I'm going to have Eve. So that's what it means to reference. So I'm referring to Eve. Are we good? Okay, let's do it again. So now I want to refer to Michael. Michael is in what cell? Michael is in what cell? Equal to
E5.
E5. Enter. So do we have Michael now? Have we referred to Michael? Who is still confused? Yeah, I typed it now. So you can either type it or you can select it, but please always select to avoid any mistake. Should we try it again? Yes. So now, this time I want to reference an age. Okay, sure. So now, let's reference how old is Jennifer? Hope it's not time. Timekeeper. Okay, timekeeper said it's not time. All right, 3 minutes. So how old is Jennifer? How old is Jennifer? So now equal to G what? And we have our 15. Exactly. So that is how you reference an age. Is that okay? Is anyone confused? All right. So now, what makes it relative and absolute? Now, see what happened. Do you remember our flash fill or our fill? Yes. So remember we referenced E5. If I want to reference E6, all I need to do is to drag it down. And we have James. Do you see that? I should go back. I know you know it. This is your wow. It's not truthful. So I said now, we have, what do we have here? Sorry? Wait, don't worry, you'll see it very soon. Yes. Yes, come down for Jesus. All right, so what do we first reference to? I reference Michael, right? Yes. Yes. So now I want to also reference James. I know James just wants below Michael. So we can use our field to just transfer the formula from one cell to the next cell. We're able to reference James. So let's drag it down and we have James. We are also thinking of the scenario we need it, right? No, you'll find out when we need it. So this basically is what? Huh? Who said that? Let me see. So this is relative, right? Do we agree? But remember, in absolute is fixed. So which means if we keep dragging from now to tomorrow, it will be the same name. So now we don't want Michael to change. What you do is, now let's listen attentively so we don't ask. This thing got me confused for a very long time. It's time. So she go. All right, so are we watching? So now, in the case of absolute, we're going to introduce something. We're going to introduce a dollar sign. So E stands for what? Column or row? Column. E in the formula stands for what? Column. 5 stands for row. So now let's listen attentively. You can freeze either the column or the row, or you can freeze the column and the row. If you want to freeze the column is what? E, right? You put a dollar sign before the alphabet. If you want to freeze, that is, if you want to freeze only the column. Don't get confused, please. It's too early. If you want to freeze only the row, you put a dollar sign in front of the number. If you want to freeze both the column and the row, you put a dollar sign before the alphabet and you put a dollar sign before the row. Don't get
So I think your screen is frozen.
So I'm going to explain how it's applicable.
Excuse me, sir.
So I'm going to put a dollar sign, shift 4. So I put a dollar sign before E. That freezes what? Column. Thank you very much. Then I put a dollar sign before the 5. That freezes what? Exactly. Enter. So let's see what happens. Now we have both the, so you can see we have those Michael appearing. See what happens if we freeze only the column. Are you interested in seeing what happens? If we drag it down, what happens? But if we drag it to the right, see what happens? But if we freeze both, we put the dollar sign before both. See what happens when we drag Michael down and Michael to the right. Do you understand the difference? Yes. Any question? No. Do you understand? Yes. Can we move on? Yes. All right. So it was very clear now. Time up. Yeah. Shift 4. Yeah. So we already had their bag ready to go. Who is that? So do we understand? Can I show us a scenario where this is applicable? You're going far. Okay, so let's leave it to next week. Next week, when we start looking at functions, then we understand how it's applicable. So thank you, everyone. I hope we had an exciting time. I hope we learned something. Please, if you have any question, take it down. You can post it on the group chat, or you can't post it. Hold on to it. Next week, you can ask your question. And if you have any question now, you can meet me and I can respond to your question. For those online, the same thing, you can drop it in the chat and I'll also respond to your question. Thank you very much for being attentive and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Can you help me study Excel?
No, I don't have the solution file. So do you have any one at all? Can you download the? But the last one I had got corrupted. That's the issue. It's corrupt.
Maybe next week.
I can't promise. I can't promise. I'll try and look out for it. But it's not corrupt. I need to find someone that has the corrupt file. So please, next week, let's try and cover our systems so we can follow through.
My CBS set.
All right.